What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Your friends play Crash, The Wrath of Cortex Part 2. We are here in the second warp chamber. This is Wawa's domain, I guess you could call it. And this is, we are now going to begin Part 6. As you can see here, he is the water elemental, as we've already learned. And so some of these levels will have rain.
Bandicoot, you've got some nerve setting foot into my domain without an invitation. Don't talk back to me. I'll fix that attitude.
And the sound cut out there for the dialogue sometimes happens with the GameCube version, but what he will say is he's going to fix the attitude problem of yours, meaning crashes. But anyway, so yeah, so some of these levels will have rain themed, and they will have water in them and around them, so you'll have to worry about this level in particular. You won't have to worry about the water drowning you, except for here and at the end of the level. You can see there the bridge will kind of sink down and your feet will get wet. Nothing too difficult, nothing to worry about, or though there won't be a massive flood or anything like that because of the rain. The biggest thing, as you can see here, the footprints on the water. I guess that's about the biggest thing. But yeah, like I said, nothing to worry about. But like most games like this, you know, going out of the first warp room, things are going to continue to get harder. This is one of the puzzles. I don't think you can actually. Okay, I was gonna say, I wasn't sure if you could actually crouch and jump to get up there. Of course, you could have just slid and jumped as well. That would have worked just fine. But anyway, so. Yeah, you know, there's not a whole lot to say. It's kind of a standard jungle level, nothing too difficult. You have to watch out for the spear throwers. They won't hit you, but the way that this game is set up, the spinning is kind of odd. You can't actually miss that box if you don't. Oh, okay. I never knew you could get back up there. I was gonna say if you don't. If you don't hit that life box, I didn't think you could get it before, but I've never actually tried to slide jump to get back up there before, so if you do miss it, you'll be just fine. You can still get up there to it, which is something I'm glad you can do that. It seems like the slide jump, there are two different versions of the slide jump, I guess, yeah, there are two different versions of the slide jump, and the one that it is a little bit higher, that one, I think, and I'm not sure that there may not be any height differences with them. But if there is, you know, you definitely, and there's no way that you can get to be able to decide which ones you get. So I was thinking there's a life in there, but of course there's not. You don't have to worry about those nitros. There will be a nitro exclamation box later on in the level, like with most levels. I guess with this type of gameplay, you do want to be careful here and not go out too far, so that you will get into that jeep. You want to make sure that you can get into the bonus round first. So that is something you do have to be careful of. The range that it takes for you to be able to activate the range it takes, I guess, distance-wise. Oh crap! Oh guys. Figured that TNT would have destroyed the other TNT. That is something that you do have to be careful of. The range for the explosives are not quite as far as they used to be. That you have to use the tiptoe to get through here. So you do want to. That is the big puzzle. You know, you get to, or I guess, yeah, the puzzle is figuring out how to get through there, using the tiptoe. Now, the explosion for the boxes is not quite as far as they are in other games, and this is the puzzle here. You just have to figure out how to get to that box. I believe all you have to do is just crouch jump. Yeah, I was gonna say you shouldn't worry about it. Crouch jumping works not quite as well, or it doesn't seem like it would work quite as well as in the other games, and I'm not sure why. But it is still something that you can use if you need to. I guess just because everything else is kind of weird, you know, the hitbox for everything is a lot shorter. you have to, and because there is so much movement around everything, you know, you can move around so much. You have to be really close to things to be able to hit it. So and that's why I guess it's just to me, but it doesn't seem like that kind of stuff works. But as you can see, the range for that is actually pretty wide, so you do want to be careful and make sure that you hit it, if you know, whenever possible. But now the controls for the Jeep, you push right to go right, to the right side of the screen. You push left to go to the left side of the screen. You have to press and hold the A button to get a boost, so that you can outrun the the rhinos. You do have to be careful of the nitro boxes around. The rhinos will act as a kind of like everything else, you know, like the dragon. Except for that one box, or that last box that I just hit coming out of the tunnel. The rhinos will not hit that one, so you have to make sure that you hit that one. Early on when I was first playing this game, I don't know how many times I missed that box, just not thinking, oh, the rhinos will get to it, and they never did. So you do have to be careful and pay attention to that. But the B button also works as a boost, but a lot of people, and myself included, find that it's just easier to use the A button. But you can use the B button if you're more comfortable with that. There is no brakes, and of course you don't want to really brake if you're being during a chase section in a crash game. But still, there is no, you know, if you do like to have that ability to brake, there is no brake. There's really no reason for a brake. The controls are pretty good. You have to start turning a little bit sooner than you would think usually, and this is where the underwater levels will you'll see two underwater levels here in this area. This is where they are first introduced into the game, and they act just like they did in Crash 3, control wise anyway. Pretty much that's about the only thing. Push up to go up, down to go down. It's a little bit slower while moving. It's not quite as fast or as responsive as in Crash Crash 3. But something that is new is you can actually have a mask on your face in this game, and that is something that I'm very happy for. It's definitely very useful for just dodging things like that. You saw I believe that was a mine. If you get close to them, they will start to fall. You can kind of hear you may not be able to hear it. It's very faint. You have to have the volume turned up kind of loud, and I turned the music up because I noticed that the music volume wasn't quite as high, so that kind of cancels out the in-game sound effects for a lot of things. But you'll hear this kind of beeping noise when the landmine will start to fall, and as long as you listen for that, you should be able to hear it. And like I said, I turn my music volume up really high, so a lot of the times I'll actually miss it or miss the sound, and I've actually gotten hit quite a few times by the mines. I don't think there's anything over there, but it's just best to be careful. I don't think so. There will be a section either in this level or in a later underwater level that will have a section off to the side that has a handful of boxes in it that you can't actually miss if you're not careful. The A button, which would be the X button for the the PlayStation controllers, kicks. The B button spins just like the X button would. So everything's just like that, except you gain a little bit more boost if you spin in this game than you did in Crash 3. So, and it's not really a good thing to escape danger, but if you need for just like a little burst of speed, you can use that to your advantage, and to be able to maybe miss one of those mines. I've never actually tried it for missing the mines. Usually I will just kick. It's just something different you may want to try. You can see the camera angles here is definitely really weird. It is all linear 2D. So there is no, unlike with the on foot levels, you cannot miss anything. It's just a set 2D path. So if you go up to a box or an enemy or some monster, you'll always hit them every time. You don't have to worry about missing anything. I guess that one was glitched or something, but. And you can also hear that same beeping whenever there's a landmine close. I guess I could, yeah, I don't think there's anything over there. Something new here, though, is you get to have this submarine. Press the A button to shoot. Oh crap! Press the A button to shoot, and the B button to drop a mine down below. I guess they call it a depth charge, but I guess that's what it is. And it's not a mine; it's a depth charge. But you can use that to drop things below, because this is not quite as maneuverable as the other thing in Crash 3. And so going down, because it is a lot bigger, going down isn't quite as easy, maneuvering around on the ground. And shooting things down there is not very easy, so you do have to just drop a depth charge to be able to hit things down there, especially things right below you, which the thing in Crash 3 didn't have, which you really didn't need it all that often. They kind of built that into this game a lot more than in Crash 3, so it's not really a thing that you really need all that often, to be honest. Using the depth charge on things or having to worry about, oh, well, is there always something down there that will hit me or whatever? You don't have to worry about that. You just it's all very simple, very easy. So you don't really have to worry about using the depth charge. The biggest thing, obviously the biggest problem, is the there's a puzzle here. Let me think about this a moment. That activates that. Just drop a depth charge here. See if that activates. Okay. Get these 2 lives. I don't think the range for the nitros will actually hit it, but you still want to be careful. Okay, I think that was just the puzzle. Activating that first set of boxes before destroying the nitros, and just making sure that you just didn't destroy the nitros altogether. So yeah, nothing missed. That's good. I don't think you actually have to shoot the nitros, but I could be wrong. So I do suggest shooting them whenever you see them. I think that was actually something. Maybe that was only in level 7 or 23 of Crash 3 where it didn't have it because you had the bazooka. There was no nitro activation switch anywhere. But yeah, the biggest thing is the mines dropping down, the really fast red sharks, and those divers with the harpoons. Those are the biggest things that you actually have to worry about. So thankfully there is a nitro activation switch. There's only 4 that I missed, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, those are the 2 biggest enemies that are going to give you the most trouble in this game. You will have to. I was hoping I wouldn't have to deal with this. I'm not going to wait nearly as long to this. I'm just going to explain, and then once I get done explaining something, then I'm just going to cut and I'll go on again. But the harpoon guys, they don't shoot quite as fast as you've noticed there. I have gone into some situations where I actually didn't have to react quite as fast. Like I was going through Wumpa Fruit, and the Wumpa Fruit, you cannot shoot through it. If you shoot it, you will lose the piece of Wumpa Fruit, and the torpedo will also disappear as well. So you do have to be very careful and very precise whenever you're trying to shoot a piece of an enemy behind.
Leave my levels alone!
Yeah, that wasn't worth it. Shooting an enemy behind a piece of Wumpa Fruit, you do have to be very careful and very precise. You don't have to get too far. The hitbox for the Wumpa Fruit is not very large. It's about as big. It's a little bit bigger than the size of the fruit themselves. But you don't have to really worry about it or plan too much or think about it. You just kind of maneuver up or down a little bit, then just shoot. You don't have to worry about it. The hitbox for the divers and pretty much the sharks are the hardest things to hit. The divers, you have the head to hit or the feet. They do kind of follow you, but not a whole lot. This is the harpoon diver, not the divers with the old suits with the metal hats and the suits. Not those guys. Those are easy, but they will follow you. That's about the only thing that's bad with them. But yeah, the harpoon guys, gotten hit by them a couple times, so you do want to be careful. But anyway, so this is a Coco level, as you can obviously tell, but she is a lot more fun to, I guess, she's a lot better to play in this game than in Crash 3. She can jump, she can do a kick, which is her version of a spin, except it doesn't go all around her, like the spin does. So you do have to be careful and very precise when you do kick. She has a crouching kick, which Crash doesn't have, and I'll show that off here. Let's see. Oh, I guess it's not a crouching kick, but it's kind of like her version of a slide. She doesn't slide. The only thing she can do is just that kick, and so it's kind of useful. You know, I would definitely not suggest using it against an enemy. The kick works a lot better and it's a lot faster. But for, you know, taking out a line of boxes, it's a little bit more precise than the slide. So you know, that's an advantage, I guess you could say. But anyway, so but yeah, she's definitely a lot better. She still cannot use the power-ups that Crash can. The only thing she can use is the Crash Dash. Ah, crap, I knew I should have waited for that. The only thing she can use is the Crash Dash. She does not... Oh, crap, I thought that was a duck for some reason. You can see there we do need the yellow gem here, so we'll have to... Or, not the yellow gem, the red gem. And I got hit by a knife, or by one of the ninja's swords. I will say one thing that is not good about Coco is her jump distance, especially if you do spin or do the kick. You have to be very close. Her jump by itself is not very good. She can do the stomp. I guess she can use the super stomp or whatever you want to call it. She does have the ability to use that. So once you get to it, you won't get to it until later on in the game. But you know, those are the only two moves that she can use. But anyway, so. Yeah, her jump. It's not all that useful. It's actually kind of bad, to be honest, especially if you do spin, and so you do have to kind of be careful when you're spinning and jumping at the same time. These guys, you can hit them. I usually don't. It's just easier to ignore them instead of actually have to worry about them. But you can see this is an Oriental themed level. Like her levels are Oriental themed again, except for later on she has a snow level. But you know, right now the first levels that you play with her, I guess she does have a medieval level as well. But for the most part, you know, her levels are Oriental themed. And crap, I wasn't sure how that was gonna work. So this is the big puzzle here. You have to avoid that either without breaking the box or you can either break the box or not. You know, I just find it easier just to go ahead and break the box and not really worry about it. The nitros will not. I don't think they'll destroy the box. You know, that's another puzzle. I don't think the nitros will destroy the box if you get to it. If you leave that box there until the end of the level and then you hit the nitro activation switch, I don't think that the nitro will destroy that box, but I may be wrong. You know, this is a different that's kind of a shame. I thought it was gonna bounce. Oh, okay, well, there you go. And now the problem is going back, because you're not gonna be able to get back across unless. Oh, okay. I never thought to use that. But anyway, so there you go. That's one way to get through there. If you want to save the Wumpa Fruit. These torches here, the fire will go down similar to the torches in Crash 1. You just have to be careful and time everything. You know, just time everything just right so that you don't get burnt. Obviously. But what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought there. I guess it wasn't that important. Whatever it was. Maybe I was still complaining about her jump. You have to be very precise with her jump. You do have to be as close to the... You cannot... getting a running start does not actually help. Being as close to the edge of the platform that you're on and being as close to the edge of the platform that you want to get across to is actually a lot better strategy. instead of just getting a running start and then just jumping like you normally would, like a Crash or whatever, or in any type of game where you would need to do platforming jumps. She can have a mask on her face, except it's different. The mask doesn't actually get on her face. It will, she'll just kind of, she won't glow, she'll just have a bunch of sparkles around her. That's the only thing, that, like that. I will be able to show it off later on. You do want to make sure that you get that life there, though. It's kind of hidden, so unless you run back. I was fixing to say, there's no way I missed it. Maybe I was talking about the Oriental themed levels. I don't remember. I'm sure whatever it was doesn't matter. But yeah, you want to make sure that you do get that life. Usually a lot of people would just see the nitros down there and say, oh, okay, well, all I have to do is just get to the end of the level, hit the nitro activation switch, and then you come up one box short. But so you do want to make sure that you run back. You can kind of see it between the very edge of the platform and that orange thing, the kind of that's blocking the wall on the other side. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, that sinking feeling. It's another flying level, but this one's a lot different than level 2 or anything we've actually done so far. This one is you're on something that's called the Dragonfly, and what you have to do is you have to hold down the A button to use missiles to lock on to different targets. The enemies, Tiny, Entropy, Engine, and Dingo will still be flying around, except only Tiny, Entropy, and Engine will be flying around. Dingo will be down lower, and I'll show you in a second. Just give me a second. Alright, so sorry about that. Anyway, I figured, as I said, I didn't want to waste too much time on the screen, or whatever you call it, screen. I guess can't figure out, you can't figure out or the game just isn't reading the screen, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, you can see here, Cortex's battleships are attacking Wumpa Island, or not Wumpa Island, Naughty Dog Island, I guess you could say, or not Naughty Dog Island, Insanity Island, and so then that's what we're trying to do to stop them. You see here, you take damage a lot more easily than you do in the other flying levels. As I said, you do have Tiny, Entropy, and Engine shooting at you from their little airships. Oh yeah, and they will suicide into you. You have to be very, very careful and pay close attention to when that happens. You can see Dingo down there on the machine guns in the water. You can blow him out of the water, and he will stop shooting at you, which is kind of useful. You have to worry about the ships, or not these ships, the flying ships that the other characters are in a lot more than you ever would have to Dingo. But you still want to pay attention to what Dingo is doing. There will be a bunch of Dingoes around. I think one for each ship. So then there are 6 ships. So I guess there are six Dingoes. But as I said, you blow him out of the water and he's gone. But here the ships do take 3 rockets to take out. So you do want to kind of pay attention to them and keep firing. The flying aircraft will get into your way. You have to lock on. You can see the green cursor will let you know if you are locked onto a ship. All you have to do is just hold the A button until those little green lines, that kind of dashes, go in really close to the circle, and then that will tell you if you are when you are able to fire off a rocket. You fire off the rocket, it you blow the ship up. As I said, each big battleship takes 3 hits. The flying aircraft and Dingo only takes 1 one rocket to hit, but it takes so long to fire off the rockets that it's kind of difficult to hit.
They're gonna have to hang you out to dry when I get through with you.
It's kind of difficult to hit the ships, the flying airships. Dingo, you don't want to dive in at him or even let him, fly at him head on, just because he can hit you a lot more easily that way. Because here you do not lose the mask if you go into a flying level, which is very great. Glad they added that one. It did stink, to go into a level like a flying level having 2 masks and then you lose them. That always did hurt a little bit. But anyway, so to be able to get that life, this really didn't matter where you hit it. You still would have got the life anyway. But so if you remember back in part 1 when I was reading the information for compact reactor, it was talking about how all of the levels are follow that. Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah, I have to be careful about that one. How they all follow that factory theme. Well, this one as well, but it starts out as a water level, and it's actually a pretty hard water level. Going through here, that has a lot more mines. You see a new enemy type. I guess 2 new enemy types. Well, 3, I guess. The little fishes. Those things. The little fishes. I guess you could call them piranhas. And the weird purple jellyfish. I'm not exactly sure what those are. You don't see those too often, and they kind of just sit there. They don't really follow you around or anything like that, so they're not very difficult. The biggest thing is the harpoon divers. I guess the harpoon lab assistants. The enemies around everywhere. The mines. The fast-moving blue things. I guess they're not really electric eels, but they are I guess they kind of look like electric eels. Or at least they have electricity around them. So I'm not sure exactly what they're supposed to be, as I said, but of course. Anyway, something that they did take out that that I just didn't notice until just now is you cannot slide and spin. You can either do one or the other. You cannot do that kind of tilted spin, which is definitely very useful in the game. In the older games, like I tried to do it there into Lab Assistant, and didn't know that I wasn't sure if they had even put it in the game or not. But sadly they didn't. But it is what it is. But as I said, the hitboxes for the enemies and the range for the spin is a lot closer. With the spin, it's definitely a lot closer, as well as the hitbox for the enemies. All the enemies, pretty much, you do have to be very careful when trying to hit them. Just because, as I said, the hitboxes are so small. But you can see here, you can actually see different enemies in the water. You can see a mine, and they'll actually follow you if you watch the mine. The divers won't really follow you all that much, but the mines will, as well as other creatures, I guess, in the water. There I go, thinking I could do the sliding spin again. It's definitely very useful. It's not something that a lot of people know, and they kind of you just stumble upon it by accident. I've never heard it mentioned in the game at all before, or they don't really mention it as a move or anything that you can do, but it's definitely very useful if you can learn how to use it. And just to get through this water and everything, because the jumping is definitely a lot. It isn't normal jumping. You really have to have the double jump to be able to jump efficiently. You definitely want to slide jump as much as possible. That was something that you kind of needed to do a lot in Crash 2. They kind of trimmed it back a little bit for Crash 3, of course. Whenever you had to use the double jump, you had to have the double jump, but this game is kind of based around that, except levels. It kind of takes a bit of both. You can either, because you do have the double jump ability coming later on, you don't have to slide jump as much, just because you can use the slide jump everywhere. But for levels like this, where the gaps are so wide between platforms and everything like that you can jump on, you definitely want to learn how to use the slide jump. Again, it's something kind of new that just because it handles so differently than it did in Crash 2, and so it's something that you really have to get used to. Again, oh crap, really? That sucks. Yeah, I was gonna say, Crash has got a new animation for falling, or I guess for being right on the edge of a platform or whatever. You have to make sure you get those. See. Ah, crap! I didn't mean to do that. And the bonus rounds will definitely get a lot harder as we go on, but they are they're just hard in general. In the game, all the bonus rounds, except for kind of a lot of the ones in the first warp room, are pretty easy. But once you get into the second warp room, things are going to get a lot harder, especially because you have the tiptoe ability. You have to figure out when to use that, like in a section like this. What you normally do is, of course, you don't have the double jump, but the double jump and the Death Tornado spin would definitely help. What you would do is, let's see. I'm not sure. Maybe these TNTs will blow them up. I didn't think so. That's gonna suck when I get to the end of the level and find out that those. I don't know. I'm worried. Well, this will be good. This will be good. This will be a good test to see whether the nitros can blow up other boxes around them in the bonus round. But if you notice there, one of the metal crates actually landed on my head, but it didn't kill me. That is something that will happen in Crash 2 and 3. If the metal crates really didn't appear all that much in Crash 2, but in Crash, well, I guess they did, didn't they? But it wasn't stacked up a lot in Crash 2, as they, well, no, I guess it wasn't really stacked up around other boxes as much as they were in Crash 3. But in Crash 3, they would actually, I don't think they would kill you. They would do either they would kill you or they would do damage to you. I don't remember exactly which one. But so you had to be careful. You didn't want to be underneath one. You didn't want to be underneath a box that would or one of the purple metal crates. But thankfully they changed that in this game. Okay, good. That is very, very good. I'm glad that they, so you don't have to worry about destroying the nitros or boxes around the nitros as much. But as I said, the explosion radius around the explosive crates is shrunk dramatically, so you do have to be very careful. Something that in Crash 2 or 3 would have blown up with a TNT or a nitro will not do that in this game. So you have to be very, very careful and just kind of if you notice how close the TNTs and nitros were in this game, that's about the blast radius.
Get over here, you little orange sponge! 'Cause we're gonna bring you out.
But yeah, that was the blast radius effect for both the nitros and the TNTs. They have the same blast radius, so you can kind of judge the blast radius going off of that. But anyway, so see here, Wawa and Crunch. Crunch is now water, and he will be throwing, I guess that's water. The blue kind of, the green kind of looks like flames, but see, he will throw a line of water at the bottom, or down below, that you have to jump over the fire. You have to duck underneath, and then when he has the bubbles, those will destroy the platform, on the you saw the 3 platforms there. Well, the platform that you first jump on to get across the water will fall and will sink, and then that will take away 1 platform. As long as the platforms will not sink, I believe, as long as you crouch on them. But if you stand on them, they will sink. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
You are making a mockery of me in front of my minions. Not only have you defeated the elemental masks, but you are still collecting those worthless crystals. Well, you've gotten this far, and this is as far as you're gonna get. Pyro, the fire elemental, will see to that.
Oh, Cortex, come on! I don't need some flaming mask to help me. I can take Crash on by myself.
Crunch, you will do as I say. You and Pyro will vanquish Crash and his annoying friends.
Alright, but anyway, so looking to see fire. That's just gonna be the theme. Gonna be fire things like lava and different things like that. But anyway, that's for another time. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the trivia and everything as I normally do for the levels. Thankfully, this wasn't too long. It's kind of as long as it takes to get through the game. The levels here are definitely a lot longer and a lot harder going after the boxes because there are so many boxes that kind of, I wouldn't say artificially increases the length of the level, because if you don't worry about all the boxes and you just go through the level, you'll get through the levels a lot faster than if you have to wait for all of the boxes and everything. So because there are so many boxes per in each level, it does kind of make it a lot longer and everything. But anyway, so we're gonna start with Jungle Rumble. It's a jungle, jeep, and a chase level altogether. 1 crystal, 1 gem, clear, 150 boxes. Archers and rhinos are the enemies. Jungle Rumble is the 6th level in Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. The level is the first of the water warp. The first in the water warp room. It takes place in a surprisingly clear-cut jungle surrounded by rivers, pyramids, and temples. After about halfway, Crash jumps into a jeep to get away from a fleet of rhinos. The bonus round for this level requires the use of the tiptoe power. In the GameCube version of one of the rhinos is blue, kind of, I guess, the younger ones. The level seems to be very detailed. In the middle part of the level, there's a huge cliff and a waterfall. It could be seen in the bonus. It could be seen in the bonus round. In another Crash game called Crash Tag Team Racing, the first battle arena has the same name as this level. Also, Crash's Crikey, which is the name of the Jeep, resembles, or I guess that's a vehicle in Crash Tag Team Racing, resembles the Jeep used in this level and in Smokey and the Bandicoot, which is level 13 here in the 3rd warp room. So we'll go back and to Seashell Shenanigans, Scuba Submarine, 1 crystal, 1 gem, clear, 99 boxes. Enemies are the jellyfish, the charging fish, the shark, mine, scuba lab assistant, and diver lab assistant. You could pretty much say what is the diver, and anglerfish. So the guys with the harpoons are the I guess scuba, and the ones with the tubes going into the helmets are the divers, I guess. I think so, anyway. Seashell Shenanigans is the 7th level in Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. The whole level takes place in the underwater ocean floor. This level is based on marine life, which houses coral, fish, and other uncommon creatures that live there. This level is largely based on the underwater levels from Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, with one exception. Crash's new submarine is used to navigate a portion of the level. So, the Bonsai is Oriental, Cocoa level, 2 crystals, both clear, and the power that you'll gain later on that I'll talk about later as well. 165 boxes. The enemies are the Stork, Orange Fish, Ninja Lab Assistant, Lizard, Gong Banging Lab Assistant, and the torches, which they call Fire Flames. Bonsai Bonsai is the 8th level in Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex, and it is the first Japanese-style level in the Wrath of Cortex, and this is the first level in the game where you can play as Coco. It is also possible to get the power-up through this level's death route. Not death route, gym route. This is Coco's third Oriental-related level. This is one of the 2 Coco levels in which she does not operate a board or scooter. Those are some things that we will get that you'll see later on that you can use as her. About as annoying as the jet ski from Crash 3, but not quite as annoying as that anyway. So that sinking feeling, volcanic island flying, 1 crystal, 1 gem clear, 12 boxes, the other planes, and the dingo on the machine guns in the water. That sinking feeling is the 9th level in Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. Just like Tornado Alley in the previous chamber, it is done while in the air, but this time it takes place in an island surrounded by a volcano and a fleet of ships. It is the only time the Firefly is used in the game. Trivia: wait until the target locks. Don't quickly press the X button until the target is locked onto. Press the button to shoot missiles. Some of the enemy planes are trying to smash you. Beware, it costs large damage. Don't use the missiles for shooting planes. Instead, shoot the anti-aircraft turrets. When your health drops, quickly pop the white balloon. Sometimes the balloons will give you lives. I guess that's tips rather than trivia. Yeah, but there is no trivia for this game, so I'm going to say none of that really seems like trivia. Anyway, so H2O No, Submarine, Sunken Base, 1 crystal, 1 gem, 165 boxes. Whole bunch of enemies in this one. Purple jellyfish, mine, charging fish, scuba lab assistant, lionfish, diver, bile throwing lab assistant, electrical liquid, radioactive lab assistant, flapping fish, and then the green lasers that you saw at the end that I missed. Thankfully didn't take any damage by them. H2O No is the 10th level in Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. The first part of the level takes place underwater, where Crash maneuvers a submarine like in the second part of Seashell Shenanigans, shooting enemies and breaking crates. The second part of the level takes place in a damp cave, where Crash traverses on foot, spitting lab assistance and crossing pits of green electrical fluid on iron crates. Trivia: the name of the level is a play on H2O, the chemical formula for the biological compound water, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Which pretty much is water. Okay, so we'll go to, let me see, the boss for this warp room. Drain damage. Boss, Oriental Pump Station. You gain the double jump, crunches, water beams, water rays, and then the sinking platforms. The beams are probably the low ones. The rays are probably the high ones, and then the sinking platforms. I believe, as I said, stand on them too long, that's what will happen. Anyway, so drain damage is the second boss level in Crash Bandicoot. After Crash has collected all of the crystals from the second warp chamber, he will face Crunch as well as the water elemental Wawa. The fight takes place nearby a drainage system of sorts, along with stone pillars and platforms that will sink if Crash stays on them for too long, in the background being an Asiatic forest. If Crash defeats Crunch and Wawa, then the reward for his victory will be the double jump ability, allowing him to jump more than once. This battle is slightly easier with the double jump. But you can see here how high the double jump goes. Definitely a lot more useful than in Crash 3 by far. Jumps a lot higher in this game. Trivia: this is the only battle in the game that the boss has no health bar except crunch time on the PS2 version. In the official strategy guide, the typo of this level is brain damage, where drain should be located. The drainage system in this level near Crash, Crunch, and Wawa is perhaps the reason why the level's name is such. Ironically, this fight has nothing to do with drains at all, other than visual effects. The level's name is merely a pun on the term brain damage, which could explain the typo above. It seems that Crunch's third attack, the shockwave, sounds very similar to when Crash breaks a box. This battle, Crash's ashes rumble in the rocks. Crunch time seems to be 4 boss levels where Crash can move before getting the double jump, Death Tornado, Tiptoe, and Crash Dash, respectively, as opposed to atmospheric pressure. Learned that already. This boss is often considered to be the hardest in the game on the PS2, as the platforms sink considerably quicker than in other versions. Coincidentally, the level Drain Bash from Crash Bash was originally called Drain Damage before the name was changed. Didn't know that one, but anyway, so thank you for watching. The challenge of the video is, how many depth charges did I drop in both levels 7 and 10, you know, all together. Thank you for watching. Next, in part 3, we will go through and we will do Pyro's section, you know, do all the levels in the boss fight just like I did with the last two warp chambers. So until then, later everyone.